Hey, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily. It is the weekend. Not a lot of cryptocurrency news happening on the weekend. But what is happening is that Bitcoin's price is very close to breaking past $10,000 right now. I tweeted this out last night. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people retweeted this. A lot of people used this as an opportunity to alert their friends. Maybe you should get some Bitcoin just in case this thing catches on. I think that's what a lot of people are thinking. $10,000 Bitcoin is a huge psychological barrier in people's minds. Bitcoin at $10,000 is something that people talk about. I want to play you a clip. It's Dan Held on the Breakdown podcast talking about the first time that Bitcoin ever broke $10,000. He walked into Starbucks. Everybody was talking about it.
I actually remember when Bitcoin broke $10,000 for the first time. I was at Consensus Invest in New York. I was at a party at a club that was an after party, and it was full of crypto people. And I remember looking at my phone and watching Bitcoin break 10,000. And the next day when I went out and I had a couple of meetings at Starbucks, every single person in the Starbucks was talking about Bitcoin. And these weren't Bitcoiners, these weren't crypto people, these were just everyday people.
Did you hear that? These were everyday people talking about the price of Bitcoin. And that's because the price of Bitcoin, it's a direct reflection of just the pure emotional sentiment that people have towards it at any given time. To go further, the price of Bitcoin is a signal to the rest of the world of Bitcoin's legitimacy. So this is why Bitcoin at $10,000 is so interesting, especially this time. Let's continue listening to Dan Held. Let's let him continue his train of thought. He provides all sorts of great perspective on Bitcoin right now, this cycle, today.
The price very much reflects the aggregate sentiment of what everyone believes in Bitcoin. Like, is it bullish or bearish? And then that price is a signal to the rest of the world of Bitcoin's legitimacy. And that legitimacy, as the price goes higher, pulls in more and more people to take advantage of that increasing value. Bitcoin at 10,000 now is really interesting because we've got a lot of infrastructure that has been built. The bottom has already been printed. We've seen Bitcoin defend price dips down to 6,500. If we look at on-chain data, we've kind of seen an exhaustion of sellers. If you look at like how many Bitcoins have moved in the last X amount of months. So all the on-chain data, a lot of what we're seeing on the price movement, we're seeing a very strong buyer market, and we see this reflected on like OTC research reports as well. So I think, Bitcoin is very much at the start of a new bull run. These bull runs can take a very long time and they're very, very choppy. I published a video about a year and a half ago. It's a time lapse of Bitcoin's price since it was listed on Gox. And, a lot of people look back and they look at the journey from $1 to $10,000 of Bitcoin and they're like, oh, well, it's not that hard to hodl. Well, along the way, there's a whole bunch of 40% dips. So, it's a pretty wild ride. There's a lot of surges and there's a lot of dips. And so, I think we're about to see the beginning of a new bull run, but that doesn't mean that there won't be big retraces, negative 20%, negative 30%. I think now Bitcoin is well poised in the macro environment. Fundamentals in terms of like on-chain data, volume, and everything else looks fantastic. And then, finally, like I mentioned earlier, the infrastructure is so much more robust than any other bull run we've had before. Now institutions can trade on various venues that are fully legal, compliant, and have complex financial instruments like options, futures, margin trading, etc.
Okay, so I want to get into the infrastructure actually a little bit more because that's the...
So the question is, how much is too much when it comes to investing in Bitcoin? I mean, is that even a possibility? This thing seems kind of like a sure thing to me. I mean, let's go over it. The bottom, most likely in. Macro landscape, perfect. Halving, less than 100 days away. More infrastructure for Bitcoin today than there was ever before. I mean, really think about that. I don't know if you remember what it was like to be around in the last bull cycle. I mean, even near the top in late 2017, the height of the last bull cycle, Binance didn't even exist. The exchanges at the time, a lot of them were turning new customers away. If you wanted to use their exchange and pay their fees and the service that they provide, they were turning you away just because their infrastructure wasn't built out yet. This time, things seem a little bit different. And you know what I've noticed? I've noticed a lot of posts like this one, investing my life savings as a 22-year-old. And not just this, I've seen a lot of posts on our Bitcoin and a lot of posts on our cryptocurrency just about being new to the space and asking basic questions and wanting to, just figure out, can I put $100 into this or whatever the case may be. And the point is, you're seeing the sentiment a lot different from where we were in 2018. In 2018, you didn't see posts where people said, should I invest my life savings into Bitcoin? In 2018, people were staying as far away from Bitcoin as they could. So things are changing. And this is the question I want to talk about, because a lot of myself and a lot of our audience are cost averaging Bitcoin, stacking Satoshis. But how much is too much? Is it a problem if I invest my life savings? And that's what I want to talk about. Check out this post. Investing my life savings as a 22-year-old. Hey everybody, I've been looking at Bitcoin for a year now and lately invested about 75, and now I'm sitting at 90-ish. Nice. Straight to the point, knowing what is going to happen in 93 days. Oh, nice. Is it wise to move my life savings, about $10,000, into Bitcoin? Roast my idea as much as you'd like, and then provide useful information to help me decide. So obviously he realizes that this is could make him seem kind of foolish. So let's read some of the answers. I want to hear your opinion. Is it wise to invest life savings into crypto? This person says, what would you do if it went down by half within a month? That's a good thing to think about. If you couldn't cash out, would you still be able to hold? Or how about this person? Do you live at home with no expenses or responsibilities? If so, absolutely do it. And don't ask the herd's opinion next time. We live in a world of averages, and if you want to be an outlier, you need to start ignoring the vast majority of people. This person's a hodler. And then finally, this last comment I thought provided a lot of insight. It is not wise to do so. Bitcoin is just as likely to end 2020 at 2K as it is 20K. But beyond that, you should never invest everything into one thing. That's gambling, not investing. It doesn't matter what asset you're talking about. And don't invest a penny into Bitcoin until your debt is paid off, perhaps excluding low interest mortgage. Investing this is the most important. Investing is a long game. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Bitcoin is up 200% from early 2019, and the stock market is at all-time highs. Schedule a plan of regular monthly investment into different assets and continue that for 20 years. That's how real wealth is built, not by chasing the latest hot asset with $10,000 in your hands, putting it all down at once in one asset class, and then switching to the next big thing later on. So that's pretty realistic. Me personally, I would say cost average. Your whole life savings at 22 years old, probably not a big deal, I don't think. You could survive. At least I could survive if I were in your position. But maybe I would take a large percentage, maybe $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and cost average it like I did in 2018. I bought a lot of Bitcoin in 2018 when Bitcoin was trading around 6,500. And then Bitcoin dropped. So I bought a lot of Bitcoin at 6,500. Bought a lot of Bitcoin around 3,000 to 4,000. And it was tough buying down here. And then I was cost averaging, the past, year and a half as well. But when I was buying Bitcoin at $6,000 and then it sunk for, 7-month period or whatever, I've been hodling long enough that now my portfolio is looking pretty good. And people were giving me crap down here. If I made a video saying I bought Bitcoin at 3,700, there were people in the comments going, "You're foolish. Bitcoin's falling down to 2,000. I'm buying then." And I just, that's white noise. Anyways, that's it for me today, my friends. My name is Aaron at Altcoin Daily. Make sure you like the video. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, Altcoin Daily is a media partner for Unconfiscatable Bitcoin Conference, Las Vegas, February 20th through 23rd. Really good conference. We recommend it. Get your tickets and tell them Altcoin Daily sent you. Later.